There is a curious thing about being chosen. It is not something you announce with a trumpet, nor something you can conceal with a cloak. To be chosen by God is rather like carrying a flame in the darkness. You do not hold it to be admired, yet it is seen all the same. The passer-by may not understand why their eyes are drawn toward you, why they hesitate, why they whisper, but the truth is simple. Light demands attention, and you have been lit from within. When God sets his hand upon a soul, the ordinary ceases to be merely ordinary. A word spoken in simplicity can pierce hearts. A life lived quietly becomes a testimony, and even your struggles, the ones you would gladly exchange for ease, become a kind of beacon. People look not because you have asked them to, but because they cannot help themselves. They sense a mystery as though a deeper story is being told through you. Consider the stars. They do not shout, they do not move across the heavens in anxious haste. Yet the night traveler fixes his gaze upon them. Why? Because in their silent shining they carry direction. In the same way, when God chooses you, your very being becomes a compass for those lost in the shadows. They may resent you for it, they may envy, they may admire, but whatever they feel, they cannot look away. This is not always comfortable. To be chosen is to be set apart, and to be set apart is to be misunderstood. There are those who will misinterpret your light as arrogance, or your faith as folly. They will ask, "Who do you think you are?" And the answer, though it is difficult to say aloud, is not "I am great," but "I am his." That is all, that is enough. Understand this. Being chosen is not about pride, but purpose. God does not set his seal upon a person so that they may bask in glory, but so that through them others may glimpse his glory. If people are looking at you, it is not truly you they are seeing. They are seeing the reflection of the one who called you, who placed his mark upon you. Their eyes are drawn because, deep within themselves, they long for that same flame. You may feel weak, but it is precisely in weakness that his strength is revealed. You may feel unworthy, yet it is the unworthy who are most often chosen, so that none can boast. And you may feel invisible at times, but let me assure you, if you are chosen, you are never unseen. Heaven watches, earth notices, and eternity remembers. So when you wonder why the world cannot stop looking, why eyes linger, why conversations stir, why even your silence speak, remember this truth: you were chosen, and chosen souls are never hidden souls. Being chosen by God is not a call to pride, but a call to purpose. Being chosen by God is not a call to pride, but a call to purpose, because pride always turns the gaze inward, while purpose turns the gaze outward. Pride makes a person think the choice was made because of their own strength, their own wisdom, their own worthiness, as if God scoured the earth and found the most qualified candidate. But the truth is far deeper. God does not choose the mighty because they are mighty. He often chooses the small so that his greatness may be revealed. He does not call the wise because of their cleverness. He delights to take the simple and confound the wisdom of the world. To be chosen, then, is not to be exalted above others as though standing on a pedestal, but to be placed into the hands of God as an instrument through which he can accomplish his will. The purpose is greater than the person, and it is in that surrender that the real weight of being chosen becomes clear. When God sets his seal on someone, it does not mean their life will suddenly be filled with applause and comfort. More often it means they will walk into challenges others might never face, because the purpose of their calling demands it. A vessel that will carry something precious must be tested, fired in the furnace, strengthened against the pressure it will endure. If you are chosen, you will feel the shaping hand of the potter, sometimes pressing, sometimes breaking, but always forming you into something fit for his purpose. This is not punishment, it is preparation, and it is why you cannot afford to confuse your calling with pride. Pride resists the potter, pride insists on its own shape, pride crumbles under the heat. But a heart surrendered to purpose can withstand it, because it knows the shaping is not about appearance but about endurance. And when the world notices the chosen, as it always does, the danger of pride lurks again. People will stare, they will whisper, they will even admire, not always because they see God, but because they see the difference in you. If you let pride take root, you begin to think it is your own light that attracts them, your own strength that compels them to watch. But the truth is, the glow is not yours, the flame was never yours, it was placed in you for a purpose beyond yourself. To forget, that is to twist the calling into vanity, and vanity always leads to emptiness. To remember it is to stay rooted in humility, knowing that every eye that lingers on you is in fact drawn by the one who called you. Purpose means you are part of a story bigger than your own, a story whose author is eternal. Pride makes you believe the story is about you, but purpose reminds you that you are a chapter, a vessel, a voice echoing something greater. That is why being chosen should not lift your chin in arrogance, but bend your knees in reverence. It should not inflate your ego, but deepen your sense of responsibility. To be chosen is to be entrusted, and trust always carries weight. It is a holy assignment, not a personal trophy, and only by clinging to the purpose behind it can you carry it without stumbling into pride. The light within you draws attention, not because of you, but because of him. The light within you draws attention, not because of you, but because of him, for no one can manufacture the kind of radiance that comes from the presence of God. Human effort can polish the surface, can rehearse words, can craft appearances, but the glow of the Spirit cannot be faked. It is something that seeps from within, shining even when you are silent, felt even when you do not intend to be noticed. This is why people are drawn to you, even those who do not understand what they are seeing. They may call it charisma, they may call it influence, they may even call it luck, but deep down there is something in them that recognizes a light not of this world. That light unsettles some and comforts others, but it never leaves anyone indifferent, because true light exposes, reveals, and awakens. There are those who will be drawn closer to you because of that light, not because they admire you, but because they sense hope in you. They may not be able to name it, but their hearts feel the pull of eternity reflected through your life. There are also those who cannot stand the sight of it, because it stirs conviction within them, because it unmasks the darkness they would rather keep hidden. Yet, even in their opposition, their eyes remain fixed. They cannot ignore you, they cannot erase the mark of God that sets you apart. Light demands attention, and where it shines, shadows are forced to respond. This light is not your possession, it is your stewardship. It was entrusted to you the way a lamp is entrusted to a watchman in the night. The lamp is not admired for its own sake, it is admired because it holds the fire. In the same way, you are not meant to glorify yourself for the attention the light brings. You are meant to point back to the source, the one who kindled that flame in your soul. To forget this is to risk falling into pride, to begin mistaking reflection for origin. The moon shines brightly in the night sky, but it has no light of its own, it only reflects the sun. So it is with you. Whatever brilliance people notice is a borrowed brilliance, and its purpose is to direct them toward the greater light. There is a responsibility that comes with this kind of attention. If the light in you draws eyes, then your life becomes a message others are reading, even when you are not speaking. They are watching the way you respond to difficulty, the way you carry yourself when unseen, the way you treat those who cannot benefit you. Your life becomes a living sermon, sometimes more powerful than words could ever be. This is why it matters to walk with integrity, to guard your heart, to remain close to the source of the light, for the flame is not sustained by your strength, but by His Spirit. The beauty of this truth is that you do not have to strive to be seen, nor do you have to fear being overlooked. The light within you will do the work. It is not your eloquence that holds their attention, nor your strength that compels them to notice, but the quiet, undeniable reality of God at work in you. Eyes are drawn not to your perfection, but to His presence shining through your imperfections, and in that way, the attention your life receives is never about you. It is always about Him. To be set apart is to be misunderstood, yet also to be unmistakable. To be set apart is to be misunderstood, yet also to be unmistakable, because separation from the patterns of the world will always make you appear different, and difference is rarely welcomed with open arms. When God sets you apart, He does not conform you to what others expect. He marks you with His own design, and that mark creates both clarity and conflict. People will notice there is something unusual about you, and some will interpret that as a strength, while others will take it as a threat. The same distinctiveness that makes you stand out as chosen will often be the very thing that makes others question you, resist you, or even reject you, for what they cannot categorize, they cannot easily accept. Misunderstanding comes with the territory of divine calling. The prophets of old were often despised not because they were wrong, but because they were different. They spoke what others did not want to hear. They lived in ways that unsettled the comfortable, and they carried burdens that made no sense to those around them. To be chosen is to inherit that same kind of strangeness in the eyes of the world. Your priorities will not match theirs, your peace will not make sense in storms, your joy will confuse those who expect you to crumble, and your resilience will irritate those waiting for you to fail. They will ask questions like, why do you think differently? Why don't you chase what everyone else is chasing? Why are you not swayed by the same fears? And in their questioning lies the evidence of your distinct calling. But unmistakable means that even with all the misunderstanding, they cannot deny there is something real about you. They may argue against your convictions, but they cannot erase the quiet strength you carry. They may dismiss your faith with their words, but deep inside they know your light is genuine because they can feel it. Even in opposition, their eyes betray their awareness that you are different for a reason, not by accident. To be unmistakable is to carry a mark so evident that no matter how much others try to explain it away, it remains undeniable. This tension of being misunderstood yet unmistakable often weighs heavily, for isolation can creep in when others do not fully see you, and weariness can grow when rejection comes from those you hoped would understand. Yet this very tension is proof of your set-apartness, because if you blended in perfectly, if you were easily absorbed into the crowd without friction, then the mark of being chosen would not be visible. The difference is not always in what you say, but in the very atmosphere you carry, in the values that guide you, in the unshakable foundation beneath you. It is not easy to live under the scrutiny of eyes that both question and recognize you, but it is the nature of being called. You are not meant to be identical to everyone else. You are meant to stand as a signpost pointing higher. Even when misunderstood, your life whispers truth to those who are watching, truth they cannot fully ignore. To be set apart is to live in that paradox, carrying the weight of being misunderstood while bearing the undeniable witness of being unmistakably chosen. People cannot look away because their souls recognize the flame they secretly long for. People cannot look away because their souls recognize the flame they secretly long for every human heart carries an unspoken hunger, a longing for something beyond the visible, beyond the temporary. The world offers countless distractions to mask this hunger, yet beneath the noise and the striving lies a silent ache for meaning, for light, for truth. When someone chosen by God walks into a room, carries themselves through life, or simply endures trials with grace, that hidden ache in others is stirred, even if they do not understand why. They see something that resonates with their deepest need, something that points to the eternal, and their eyes cannot help but follow. The soul is drawn to light in the same way a weary traveler is drawn to a fire on a cold night. It is not about the vessel that carries the flame, but about the warmth and illumination the flame provides. When people notice you, they are not truly captivated by your personality, your appearance, or your achievements, though they may use those words. They are drawn to the reflection of God's presence within you, the quiet but undeniable evidence of His hand upon your life. It touches a place in them they often try to silence, a place that remembers they were made for more. They may even feel conflicted, because while they admire what they see, it also reminds them of what is missing in themselves. There is a mystery in the way souls recognize each other's light. Someone who is running from truth may find themselves irritated by your peace, yet they cannot stop glancing back at you. Someone who has lost hope may feel a flicker of possibility return when they see you endure with strength, and they are compelled to keep watching. Your flame becomes a mirror to their own buried desire, reminding them of what could be rekindled if they turn toward the source. This is why you are watched so closely, why your life seems to draw attention even when you do not seek it. You are carrying not just your own story, but a glimpse of the story their hearts are longing to rediscover. It is not unusual that those who stare the longest are those who resist the most. Their resistance does not come from hatred of you, but from the discomfort of seeing in you what they secretly crave but fear to embrace. The flame within you is evidence that God is near, and that nearness unsettles them because it awakens a choice. They can no longer deny that light exists, for they see it in front of them, living, breathing, and undeniable. And even if they turn away, the image of that flame lingers in their memory, a quiet call they cannot fully silence. This is why your presence carries weight beyond your words. You do not need to strive to convince, to argue, or to prove yourself, because the flame itself does the work. People recognize it even when they cannot name it. Their souls, whether restless or weary, know the warmth of the fire when it comes near, and once they have seen it, they cannot truly look away. Being chosen means your life itself becomes a testimony, even in silence. Being chosen means your life itself becomes a testimony, even in silence, because the message of God's work in you does not depend solely on what you say, but on the way you live. A testimony is not just a story told with words. It is a story written across your choices, your endurance, your compassion, and your faithfulness. People read your life long before they listen to your voice. They watch how you respond to disappointment, how you carry burdens that would break others, how you remain steady when circumstances give you every reason to collapse. Without uttering a word, your life speaks volumes, declaring that there is a strength greater than your own, a peace not tied to circumstances, and a joy not dependent on possessions. Even your struggles become part of this testimony. When you walk through valleys, others are watching to see if the flame will flicker out, but instead they see you holding on, and that in itself speaks louder than sermons. Silence in suffering can reveal more than eloquence in comfort, because it proves that faith is not a mask, but a foundation. Your scars, your trials, your resilience become living evidence that God is real and active, shaping you from within. Many may never open a sacred book or step into a place of worship, but they cannot help but encounter the sacred when they encounter your life lived in alignment with God's call. There is a quiet authority in such a testimony, one that cannot be fabricated. Words can be rehearsed, appearances can be staged, but authenticity cannot be counterfeited. When someone sees consistency in your life, when your private character matches your public image, they are confronted with something undeniable. Even if they reject the message with their lips, their heart registers the reality of what they have seen. A life aligned with divine purpose becomes a mirror that reflects truth into the eyes of all who look, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. This testimony is not limited to great achievements or dramatic moments. It is woven into the ordinary fabric of everyday living. The way you treat those who cannot repay you, the patience you show when no one applauds, the integrity you maintain when compromise would be easier, all these details become part of the witness. People often expect that testimony must be dramatic, but in truth, it is the accumulation of consistent faithfulness that becomes the loudest sermon. Small acts, repeated over time, build a story that cannot be ignored. And when your life becomes such a testimony, silence is not emptiness but resonance. Even without words, your presence carries a message. The peace you walk with, the kindness you extend, the hope you refuse to abandon, all of it proclaims that there is something greater sustaining you. Your very being becomes a letter written not with ink but with spirit, read by every soul who crosses your path, reminding them that God still chooses, still calls, still transforms, and still shines through those who are willing to be set apart.